Sure. My name is Maddy, and I am cargo bike mama. I first purchased our Urban Arrow cargo bike in 2019 and started biking every day from then. Such a good question. I got the idea to buy a cargo bike after spending the summer in the Netherlands. We had been traveling back and forth, and we had rented Bakfietsen cargo bikes and discovered just how liberating it was having a cargo bike. And so at the end of the summer of 2019, we came back to New York City, and I said, I need one of these here. I need to make my life more efficient. At the time, we only had 2 kids, and now, of course, we have 3, but I wanted the cargo bike to just go to the doctor's offices, go to martial arts, just unlock our lives in different ways, and became much more efficient with a cargo bike. We chose the Urban Arrow for a number of reasons. One, we wanted a bike that was really heavy duty because our bike infrastructure is not that great. So we needed a kind of bike that could handle an impact should one occur. And the Urban Arrow with the steel reinforced frame with the foam felt the safest. I also wanted a bike that was up front where the kids were in the front of me as opposed to in the back. Because I'm so petite, the long tail weight distribution is really uncomfortable for me. So the front-loading Urban Arrow, the way that it's designed, is a much more comfortable bike. And then, of course, number 3, it's one of the bikes that's available. There aren't so many options in New York City that met the criteria of safety and front-loading and ease to get and ease to service as well. So we picked the Urban Arrow because it was something that that hit all of those checkpoints. The cargo bike has changed our whole life, my whole life. My daily life, it's just made it so much easier for me to get around. In New York City, we're really reliant on public transportation. It can take a long time to get anywhere that I'm trying to go, but having a cargo bike has made my life just so much more efficient. So I've freed up a lot of time that I might not necessarily have had otherwise. So that's the daily life. 2, it makes it much easier to get groceries. I can go to faraway grocery shops or buy in bulk and carry it very easily in the cargo bike. If I'm not sure what to do for the day, I'll just throw the kids in the cargo bike and go for an adventure. You know, you can really just, it does so much. And of course then the daily life is one thing, but then just the way of life has changed. Now, whenever we travel, which we travel quite extensively, we use cargo biking as a source of like what cities do we go to because we can cargo bike? Where can we get cargo bikes? And it's changed the whole way that we've experienced the world, really. So, and of course, connected us to great people, you know, always an amazing thing. I don't think so, no. I think how you think about it is when you compare it to driving a car or even being as a pedestrian, you're less likely to get into a crash on a cargo bike than you are compared to walking on the streets or even being in a car. Car crashes are far more common than crashes with bikes. Not to say that it doesn't occur, because there's still limited infrastructure and the society is just getting used to having, I think, cargo bikers as part of its daily milieu. And I would say that in New York City, it's also important to be a defensive biker while we wait for the society to catch up and the infrastructure to catch up to, the same level as, say, the Netherlands, where it's built in, safety is built in. It's not built into New York City just yet in many cases. And so I would say that just practicing defensive biking is something that is important. Like choose your protected bike lanes. You can always be alert. You're constantly, your senses are very much attuned when you're biking, right, in New York City, because you've got people stepping into the bike lanes because they're not familiar with the bike lanes, right? Or you have cars that will sort of go in, or vehicles that will stop and unload, or loading, things like that. So defensive biking is also very important. But once you get used to it, it's very liberating. And it's, I think together, like with more families, we can really change the nature of cargo biking in New York City. At least that's my hope, right? And with more people getting on the bike and more people bringing their families and children, I think we could really see, you know, a momentous, massive shift. And hopefully policy will keep up with that. Are there many cargo bikes? I don't think there, I think there are some, and I think the number is growing. So I think you will see plenty of cargo bikes. It depends on how we're thinking of it. Is it compared to a place like the Netherlands? No, right? We don't have very many. But it's definitely, you'll see a lot of the long tails, and those are certainly growing in popularity. And you're starting to see a lot more of the front loaders, the long johns as well. So no, but it's getting there. And I feel like the more that I advocate, or more that we advocate, like as a global community, I think the more people will take to cargo biking and the numbers will increase. At least that's my hope. It's getting there. I think there are places like Chicago, places in California, places in Oregon, where you do see sort of regular cargo biking, and I think they were very much ahead of the curve in terms of adapting in the United States. So other places, it's still very foreign. And you won't see a lot of them in, say, any of the suburbs or sort of the farther rural. You'll see some, but very, very few. We're very car-centric. We're very reliant on our cars. And so I think that aside from the few cities, there's still far and few between. I used to own a car, but we had a car when I was in graduate school, and it made sense because I couldn't easily get to and from graduate school. And then in 2013 or 2014, we just didn't want a car anymore. And we've been car free ever since. And now we are like hardcore car free, and we'll never own a car again. Oh, my number one argument, if I was trying to convince someone to switch from a car to a cargo bike, would be to, I might take a cost standpoint. I might say having a cargo bike is, while the initial onset of buying a cargo bike can be pricey, the residual costs of owning and upkeeping a cargo bike are so much less than car ownership. You don't have gas, you don't have regular maintenance in the same kind of way. When something breaks, it's easier and cheaper to fix them when compared to a car. You don't pay for parking if you, I mean, you can, but you don't have to. You can do almost everything in a cargo bike that you can for a car at like a fraction of the cost. And then I might say, it's really fun. Your kids won't be nauseated like they are in cars. It's better for the environment. It's a lot of fun. It's super cool. I might go from there. Amazon has gotten really good at it. So the last mile delivery system, you're starting to see, at least in New York City, I can talk about New York City, you'll see a fleet of turn bikes and the flatbed car goes behind, and they will be doing deliveries from Amazon, Whole Foods, things like that. I wish I saw more UPS, Postal Service. We don't see those quite yet. So it's there, but very limited. Yes, so great question. So the Instagram account, oh, I should mention about that. So I started the Instagram account maybe about 6 months after I got my bike with the intention of showcasing what families could do in New York City. And I'll get to your question as well. But a little history, so I started taking pictures of the urban arrow. This is obviously not my urban arrow, but like my urban arrow on the Brooklyn Bridge, in front of Empire State Building, along the Greenway, at the Intrepid, just to say, you know, I'm 5 feet, right? I've never biked before, right? This was the very first bike I've ever owned. And if I can do it, you can do it. And look at all these amazing things that you can do with your family. And so by starting to showcase all of these places and possibilities, I started to grow my Instagram account. It's all organic. I have followers who are both American, a lot of European, very good blend of both, blend of women, blend of men, parents, non-parents, people who just love the biking and cycling culture tend to follow. And I do get a lot of messages saying, I bought a cargo bike because of you. I bought the Urban Arrow because of you. I was contemplating different cargo bikes and I settled on the Urban Arrow. Or, you know, I don't care what bike they get, as long as they get on a bike and they start cargo biking. You know, I love my Urban Arrow, of course, but I understand and appreciate all the variety of types. And ultimately it depends on, you know, each family's needs or the unique situation of their environment in which they're biking. And so, I mean, I've gotten messages from Paris saying, hey, I bought an Urban Arrow because of you. From Canada, I got an Urban Arrow because of you. And so that's like a really rewarding, like to know that I'm influencing different people to choose a cargo biking lifestyle it's so exciting for me. So, and it keeps me going, right? And that's why I'm like, now I'm in Europe, look at what I can do, look what we can all do, you know, by cargo bike. So, and then the last thing I want to say is, I think it's been really amazing, the people that I've connected with. And so this was really the first trip that I put very publicly on my Instagram that I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Europe. I'm going to be in Berlin. You know, let me start there. And I had really great people reach out and say, hey, like, let me come and take you around. You know, and then of course here I'm in Antwerp and I put it on the Instagram. I'm like, hey, I'm coming here. And then I got to meet you, right? And like, there's a whole culture and cycling community that can come together and we all show each other the way. And I think it's really phenomenal.